Let me just start off by saying that Hasbro may actually send their hit squad at me after today's video. And well, let's be brutally honest, Hasbro hit squad is probably a bunch of overweight, middle-aged nerds. So maybe I shouldn't worry too much. I kid, I'm totally joking. But honestly, it's funny because I made that reference about McFarlane in one of my earlier videos where I kind of just bashed McFarlane and I was like, hey, McFarlane is going to come after me. And then somebody in the comment section was like, dude, McFarlane doesn't even know you exist. Like, you're a nothing, you're a piece of scum, you're a piece of gum that I actually stepped on earlier. Like, you're absolutely nothing, you're dirt. And I guess it was kind of right. Like, that comment hurt my soul, it hurt my insides. I went and cried into my pillow for about a couple of hours, but it was 100% accurate. These guys don't know who I am. This is a very small, tiny little POS channel, and you know, very few people watch it, so I doubt that anybody, you know, within Hasbro or McFarlane or any of the bigger OMs are even paying attention to anything that I have to say. But I like to start off my intros that way, so it is what it is. Look, in today's video, we're doing something that honestly I feel kind of guilty doing, but at the same time, I think we need to explore as collectors, you know, kind of branch out and just experience everything that the collector community has to offer. And today we're going to be taking a look at some of the best AliExpress knockoff action figures. I'm not sure if that's the correct terminology, because there are people out there that like legitimately believe that these are not knockoffs, that they're potentially like QC rejects from the actual company or from the factory where they're being manufactured, or the blueprints or whatever, the engineering, the molds maybe were stolen or copied, and then somewhere overseas there's a small little factory mass producing these. We just don't know. All I know is that they don't, or I should say they're not officially licensed by Hasbro, and they're not being mass produced or distributed by anybody that's authorized from Hasbro. So this is kind of an interesting debate to have. So in today's video, we're going to just look at some of the best knockoffs that the AliExpress website is offering. I'm going to look at some of the reviews, see if they're worth picking up or not, and then I'll look at some accessories and just extra stuff that I thought is really cool for like 1/12 collectible action figures. Like I said, I'm just kind of taking a quick look. It's more of a layback video, nothing too intense. And I will say, I've for the longest time wanted to do a video like this, but one where I actually purchase stuff. I wanted to go like kind of a little bit of a shopping spree, especially on AliExpress. And I'll be brutally honest with you guys, I haven't even had really an opportunity to do any online shopping recently, which is weird. I mean, I do get my pre-orders in. I've had some pretty bangers, some pretty big bangers recently that I was able to pre-order, but aside from them, like I don't just get on there and just shop online, which is kind of weird because, you know, a few years ago I was all about it. Recently I've kind of been falling out of that practice, so hopefully I'll go back in there, see if there's anything cool that I need to pick up. And like I said, shopping spree from AliExpress, I'll eventually get to it. I just really need to do my research. I'm not just gonna buy any random stuff that pops up in my feed, because I might end up with like just absolute garbage from overseas, but we'll see what happens. As always, if you guys enjoy this type of rambling content, make sure to stay tuned, because I do upload action figure content. Like, I don't know, I think we're up to like 4 times a week. I want to ramp it up to 5. I don't know if that's humanly possible. I'm already stretching myself incredibly thin, but I definitely enjoy it, and I like bringing content to you guys. So stay tuned if you guys like this type of stuff. Without further ado, without wasting any more saliva, let's get straight into it. Let's talk about some knockoff figures from AliExpress. And the first little lot or wave that I ran into was essentially that entire, I shouldn't say the entire, but a pretty big chunk of that retro carded line from maybe like 3 to 4 years ago. You have like the Hasbro Pulse exclusive cell shaded Venom. They also had the retro carded Ben Reilly, as well as the retro carded Symbiote Spider-Man, and then they also had the classic colored retro carded Marvel Legends Spider-Man. All of these, aside from I believe the Ben Reilly, have gone up astronomically high in terms of price point. I think the retro carded Spider-Man was probably like 120 to 140 not too long ago. The Venom went up there in price point as well. I was seeing him as high as like 160. And then the Symbiote Spider-Man was one of those that didn't go up as much. I'm not sure why it is, but I think like the heights of that particular figure were like $45 to about $50. Now I will say, eBay and all of these other third-party marketplaces are really weird right now. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that people are just really skeptical about sellers and whether they're knockoffs or original. In my personal opinion, don't buy them unless they're like a legitimate retailer, because it appears that a lot of people are buying from AliExpress and then trying to resell them on eBay or Amazon. So buyer beware. It's really difficult to be able to tell nowadays. As I said, there are people that believe that these are technically Hasbro figures, but for one reason or another they were rejected at one point. So that makes me believe that potentially there could be people out there trying to flip these figures and pass them off as like originals. So I think that has a lot to do with the fact that a lot of these have dropped in price recently, because people, like I said, they're just very skeptical. They don't know exactly who to believe, and I think the market has just really fluctuated because of that. Now you can probably pick these up. Now these are like, there's a welcome deal, I guess. Like your first few purchases, you get a deal where you get some really inexpensive action figures, and in this particular case, I think if you create a new account and try to buy through them, you're able to purchase most of these for about $9, and then I believe the retro carded Venom is up to like $13 to $14. Just keep in mind, for me personally, this is the one wave that I was not able to check out on my cart for some reason. As soon as I would add them to my cart, it would give me like a weird error message saying that they would not sell in my region. So I'm not sure if it's because I'm a US buyer, or I'm not 100% sure. Maybe they're just out of stock. I don't know. It wouldn't actually let me check out or at least like input my information, which was really interesting. But regardless, I would personally say you're better off purchasing them here, just because unless they decide to re-release these, you're not even 100% sure if you buy them from an eBay seller or even local where they got that figure from. Like they're just so widely available that you may be buying a knockoff. So you're just better off, you know, going through AliExpress. From the reviews, and I'm just going off of the reviews, most of the experiences are extremely good. I think like the worst thing that so far in terms of like the ratings has to do with like the packaging being beat up and some of the joints being a little bit loose. But again, you're buying a knockoff. If the biggest issue is that the card or the bubble was a little bit damaged or that some of the joints are loose, it's not the end of the world. I mean, you expect that with the price point and the fact that you're buying something that isn't officially released from Hasbro. So it's not really the end of the world. It's not the biggest issue. But if you are interested, you can now purchase these. Like I said, most of them had gone up in price. I think Ben Riley was the only one that stayed at a relatively affordable price. I think I even saw it dip under like $15, maybe $14 online. So people were just trying to get rid of like overstocked inventory. I'm assuming that Hasbro is eventually going to look at this and then want to re-release their own retro carded. The Venom has been re-released in different versions for quite some time now, but the Spider-Man, I think that's probably one of those candidates along with the symbiote, even though again we've already received a symbiote. But that's Spider-Man to get a re-release and essentially, you know, take the business away from you know, these knockoff websites. But yeah, if you guys are interested, they're now available. I think almost all of them were about $9, except for the retro carded Venom, which went up to about like $14 to $15. I also ran into another seller or another listing that had essentially every single Marvel Legends Hulk that's been released within like the last 4 to 5 years. They had, for example, the Gamerverse Outback Marvel Legends Hulk. They had the SDCC exclusive retro carded Hulk. They had the 2-pack, the 80 years anniversary with Wolverine 2-pack. They have the Marvel Legends Red Hulk, which is supposed to be a Target exclusive. And then they had that newer like 45-year anniversary. I can't keep track of the anniversaries, but I think that's the latest iteration with that Marvel Legends Body Hulk. What's really interesting about this, and again, I'm just going off of the images from the listing, it appears that they're reusing the, I'm going to assume that the newer like reverse butterfly joints body mold. What's interesting is the Outback Hulk, I believe the Outback Gamerverse Hulk actually does not utilize that bubbly body mold. I think that one reuses the MCU body mold, and then they just ported a new head sculpt on it. I'm talking about the original one, by the way. The original one was the MCU body. The one for the knockoff is actually reusing the 80 years anniversary one. So it's kind of a really interesting take. It's definitely not accurate. Same thing with that ripped up like lab coat. I believe that one was only included in the 2-pack with the Wolverine action figure, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but a lot of the accessories are like switched around, or they're included with action figures that shouldn't have it. So it's kind of like a really interesting situation here. They either did not do enough research, or they could care less. They just threw a bunch of accessories. They just kind of like mixed and matched in between the Marvel Legends Hulk, or the quote-unquote Marvel Legends Hulk. So if you guys are interested in these, same thing, you're paying about roughly like, and I'm including taxes here and fees or whatever, you're probably paying like in the low 20s, I would say, like maybe $23-24, depending on which one you want. My personal opinion, don't buy most of these. Like, for example, the Red Hulk, I think, is still readily available online. Yeah, you have to pay a little bit more, but it's the original one. With the Outback Hulk, I think that one was available for like, you know, next to nothing. I think I've seen them for as low as like, you know, $15, $16, $17 online with free shipping. I was able to pick mine up pretty easily back in the day, and a few others are kind of still available, so still be cautious about these. I think like the SDCC exclusive one might be the only one that is difficult to find. The 45th anniversary one also is kind of difficult, and the 2-pack, but the others, you can still kind of find them for affordable prices, so there's no need to go through like the knockoffs, especially considering you're kind of like risking yourself or putting yourself out there. The ratings are pretty good, and it does appear like I only go by the ones that have images, because other ones, you know, it could just be like a fake account, but the images kind of like give me a little bit more, or a sense of security, and it appears that overall most people were pretty happy. Like I said, the more consistent thing is the loose joints and the beat up packaging, but if you guys are looking for an alternative, here you have it. Or if you guys are looking for like an easy customizable Red Hulk, you guys can do that now. Like I said, pretty affordable. Definitely worth checking out if you have an extra 20 bucks lying around. And then I ran across one more listing, and this one was kind of interesting. It may be the exact same seller as the first listing that I talked about, because they essentially have all those retro carded Spider-Man, but they essentially just added a couple of extra figures. For example, they added the 2099 Miguel O'Hara action figure, retro carded action figure from the Across the Spider-Verse wave, which isn't really that old, and I believe there was a kind of a reissue eventually for that figure. They also have that anniversary retro carded Deadpool, which also was reissued not too long ago, so you can actually still pick that up for about retail. It was released to like all the fan channel exclusives, so I believe like Big Bad Toy and Entertainment Earth and a couple of those other websites were able to acquire that particular figure. And then they also have the cel shaded Walmart exclusive Spider-Man, and then the retro carded Craven action figure, which I believe was also a Walmart exclusive. That one was just recently and actually was still in stock for quite an extended period of time. I think by now it might have sold out, but it was even on sale for like a good amount of time. So most of those figures, I believe the ones that I mentioned, are along the lines of like $13 to $14. Some of them a little bit lower, but just be very keen. The website, I don't know what's going on, but I would actually add it to your cart and try doing like the checkout process, obviously without adding like your payment information, just to verify the price point, because sometimes I'll add some things and it'll either be discounted or it'll go up a couple of dollars depending on the figure. So just keep an eye on that. I'm not sure what's going on, if it's the website or if it's maybe like I can't combine certain figures together to get deals. So just keep an eye on that. It is a little bit weird that that's consistently happening, but like I said, just add it to your cart just to verify the price point. And don't ask me why there are so many knockoff Deadpool action figures on this website, but the next two are also Deadpools. We have the Uncanny X-Men Gray Marvel Legends Deadpool, and then we also have the Legacy Collection Deadpool. Really interesting. I think the Legacy Edition was, I can't quite recall. I haven't looked it up recently, but I think that one sold out for quite some time. I'm not sure if it's gone up in stock, but that one's kind of like a more modern, just recently released action figure, so that one's kind of interesting. Again, I wonder if this is actually legitimately a knockoff, or it's just, like I said, some QC rejects that maybe some, you know, resellers were able to get their hands on. The gray Deadpool, sorry, is a very interesting one. It may have some extra accessories. I can't quite recall the original one, but I don't remember it having this many accessories. I could be wrong, but I do believe that they threw in some extras there if you guys are interested. And that's actually something that's pretty consistent on the website. Like, they'll constantly throw in like some little extra accessories that did not come with the original Marvel Legends action figure, and I think that's really cool, right? You're already paying for a knockoff or a potential knockoff, might as well throw in some little extras here and there to really spice up the figure and add even more value. And we could honestly do this all day. The amount of knockoffs that are on AliExpress is just absolutely mind-boggling. My tiny little reptilian brain just isn't able to comprehend and dissect all of this. I mean, there may be some cyborg mechanisms out there that can handle all of it, but I just have a tiny brain. I just can't do it. But the last one that we'll talk about is that 3-pack with Elektra, Bullseye, and Daredevil. And that Daredevil has a new what was it, the new Renew Your Vows Spider-Man body mold. From the description and some of the reviews, it appears these come loose, but still, if it's, you know, not readily available near you and it's, you know, astronomically high through the third-party marketplace, you can actually pick these up now for, you know, pretty affordable prices. You're looking at $25 for 3 brand new figures with some of the newer tech applied to them, which is something that you don't usually see. $25 out the door if you guys are interested in this. And then to wrap things up, even though they're technically not knockoffs by any stretch of the imagination, I thought I would throw in a few accessories here and there. I did run into this listing that had a bunch of different weapons. I don't know what weapons are called. I'm not that kind of guy. I don't own a gun, and honestly, I can only describe weaponry by the sound that they make, and I'm definitely not going to do that in today's video. So yeah, I have no idea. But you can pick most of these up for about like $5 to $7 with free shipping. Really cool. They look really intricate, really well designed, at least from the promotional images. And then I was actually reading through some of the reviews, and it appears that a lot of these weapons are either die-cast or metal, so that makes me believe that they're going to be very durable. It appears that they're made of like very high quality material. They look phenomenal, and they're also very affordable if you guys are interested in picking any of these up. I also ran into this really cool 1/12 scale jacket that is supposed to be leather. At least that's what it says in the title. I doubt it's actual leather. Let's just assume it's like synthetic or some sort of knockoff of leather, but still, I saw some images from some of the reviews, at least for this particular listing, and I have to say it displays incredibly well. It seems that for some figures it may be a little bit too big, but I think it's a matter of which version you get. There may be different versions, and the seller is just kind of selling them in one particular listing, because I did see one that kind of fit the DC Multiverse display from McFarlane, or the DC Multiverse scale, a little bit better, and then I saw this one that fit the Shocker action figure incredibly well. I mean, it displays like a much more expensive 1/12 accessory for sure. And then lastly, there was a seller that had a bunch of listings for random articles of clothing. You went from like jeans to trousers, a couple of vests, and even more jackets. These look incredibly detailed, and the reviews speak for themselves. There are a lot of people that are very happy with some of these pickups that they had recently, and you can get really creative with these. You can throw them on some of your Marvel Legends action figures, maybe some G.I. Joes, or if you want to go with just like a blank slate of an action figure, they sell many different model kits, or even, like I said, some of those generic action figure body molds that a lot of people like to use for customizing. All in all, there are some great articles of clothing here for your 1/12 scale action figures. If you guys are interested, as I said, a lot of these range between the price points of like $6 to maybe $10 to $12. Very affordable, and usually if you go through like eBay or other avenues, They're usually sometimes even twice that. But there you guys have it. I was here mostly to talk about the knockoff Marvel Legends market on AliExpress, and I ended up talking about random 112 accessories for your action figures. But I thought I would just kind of sprinkle that on at the end. As I said, if you guys are interested in any of these, they're all available. Some of the retro carded action figures or some of the Spider-Man retro carded stuff, you have to actually look through different listings. Some of them are available in your region, some of them are not. It just depends on where you live and things of that nature. I'm not sure why it is that way, but it just is. And it's worth mentioning, if you do happen to sign up and these are your first few purchases, you actually get some discounts. I've noticed that. It depends on the item, it depends on a lot of different things. I think it depends on where you live and you know, how many purchases you have made on the app. So just keep that in mind. But almost everything that I found is relatively affordable and much cheaper than their original counterpart. So it's really up to you whether you want to experiment. In my personal opinion, I'll probably dabble here and there, but I feel definitely guilty because I feel like I'm betraying and cheating on Hasbro, but that's just me. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, make sure to stay tuned because we do upload pretty consistently, and enjoy the hobby. That's the most important part of all this. Pose your figures, take pictures of them like a total weirdo, and just have fun, you know, just enjoy them. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.